So this last one here, it gives us information about a crack, whatever. This is a rate. It's an important word at which it drips. And there's 30 ounces to start at t equal to 0. First thing it asks is how much is left after 5 minutes. So you have to be able to think of the integral from 0 to 5 as being, well, if this is the rate, we always talk about, so that would be ounces per minute, right? If I multiply that, if you think about an integral as being multiplication, if I multiply ounces per minute by minutes, which would be the integration from 0 to 5, and that gives me ounces. So you should be able to infer that the integral from 0 to 5 is the change in ounces over that time period from 0 to 5. So if you get that much, then what you can do is say that my answer, how many are left? Well, I start with 30, and then my change is the integral from 0 to 5 of r of t dt, which I would use fn int on my calculator for that. This is my r of t. You should know how to do that. I'm not going to talk about that here. And once you plug that in, if you plug everything in correctly, you'll get 24.973, and I should write ounces. The next part, part B, says what's the average rate? So when you hear average rate at first, you might think, all right, well, what's the average slope? But in this question, that comes back to this word being important. The function is the rate. So I'm not looking for the slope of anything. I just want to find the average value of that function. So it's 1 over the interval width, which is 5, times the integral from 0 to 5 of r of t dt. It's the same integral as the previous line. So I wind up getting 1 over 5 times 5.063, which gives me 1.013. And I should include units here, so average rate would be ounces per minute. It's kind of a lot of shampoo. The last part of this problem asks us to find when the average rate is equal to the actual rate. So I want to know for what t-value is that function equal to this number. So I put into y1 in my calculator t over square root 1 plus t to the 3 halves. And then in for y2, I put this number. Figure out where they hit each other. And I definitely want to do this as an alpha A. I want to store it on my calculator. I don't want to type in 1.013. Otherwise, I will wind up with a rounding error. And then I make my X window go from 0 to 5. And I just need to make sure that this is included in my Y window. So it doesn't really matter too much where that window is as long as it includes that 1.0 whatever. And I get an X value of intersection of 1.959.